may be therefore more capable of, and it may be more important to address that RVS system. General Saltzman, we will miss you as you retire. As I was saying briefly, last month a group of senators traveled to the Arctic. We visited Bittervik in Greenland, and it was very impressive to see the operation there, to see the work with NASA to identify black holes. I was very impressed with that, to see the cooperation with our Danish and Canadian and Greenlandic partners. It was nice to hear that that is going so smoothly despite some of the challenges. So can you, and for us in New Hampshire to see the station, to know the connection to New Boston, New Hampshire, because there is a hub for the Space Force in New Boston, as you know. But can you talk about how important it is for that radar and space surveillance mission to our homeland missile warning in both the U.S. and Canada, and how we're cooperating with Canada on that?
Thank you, Senator, and I know the Guardians and Airmen up there loved having you there, so it was important for them as much as it is for us. That Greenland is an important strategic area for us. Missile warning, missile defense, as you mentioned, space domain awareness, and satellite control network. We have all those kinds of antennas and radars up there to do vital missions, and that posture where they are gives them a different vantage point to collect things and to see things that you wouldn't otherwise get an opportunity if we didn't have that strategic piece of land. So it's a vital, and that's why we're investing in it. Almost $130 million in this budget request for upgrades to the radar system. We're upgrading the dorms. We're upgrading the power generation. As you know, that's vital there as well. So I feel like we're investing heavily because of the strategic importance to those missions.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary General, thank you for being here. Thank you for your leadership. I want to follow on Senator Shaheen's comments about our Arctic visit, and particularly to Bittervik. I've been there on multiple occasions, as you know, General, and with each visit, I am impressed by what we have, but also how old what we have is there. And we have seen, obviously, increasing interest in the high north, and better understanding the gaps that we have in our surveillance is what is going to have to be a priority for us. Now, I appreciate what you have shared in terms of underscoring the importance of the Arctic. But do you believe that the budget that we have in front of us is going to be appropriate when it comes to not only ensuring the ongoing mission role of Bittervik Space Base, but the role of the Space Force in the Arctic? I'm looking at the budget, and it's pretty significant in terms of its growth. But I am concerned that we don't specifically call out the strategic investment in the Arctic. So I'd like to ask you that question, and General Wilsbach, you know it's coming to you too. So I'd like to just hear from the two of you whether you think that this budget adequately reflects the ongoing priority of the Arctic at this time.
Yes, Senator, I believe it is. I believe there are substantial investments. We may not call out specifically the investments are in support of the Arctic, but the posture that we have in the Arctic, in Alaska, as you all know, in Greenland in particular, and even in our northern tier bases, accomplishing missile warning, missile defense, space domain awareness, vital. And we are upgrading the systems to make sure we get rid of some obsolescence. These are older systems, our legacy ground-based radars. We want to digitize them and make them relevant to the future fight. And this budget does invest along those lines.
General Wilsbach.
Probably the biggest example I can give you is the fighter town recapitalization at Elmendorf of almost $7 billion to recapitalize the fighter side of that base. And that is a significant amount of money to create a very strategic spot for the fighter aircraft that we have stationed at Elmendorf. And then the other is the weapon system sustainment for the F-35s, which should improve the readiness of the F-35s. So between Elmendorf with the F-22s and Eielson with the F-35s, and the strategic location that Alaska is, where you can get those jets anywhere in the Northern Hemisphere in about 9 hours of flying time, that's a strategic point, and to invest in those two bases is increasing our capability to make those moves happen at the time and place of our choosing.
Well, I thank you for reinforcing the priority of that and an emphasis that this is a national priority. It's not necessarily this is an Alaska specific or a JBER specific, but what that allows us to do from the perspective of true strategic positioning. It was I think important for colleagues, many of whom had never been to the Arctic, to understand how this North American connect between Alaska, Canada, and then Greenland, how working together we are able to have a position of not only leverage but also a domain awareness that doesn't come with just increased assets on the ground in Alaska. It's got to be linked together, and so. We saw some pretty impressive things, not only in Greenland, but also understanding what our Canadian neighbors are doing, what they need to do more of, but how we integrate across the far north has to be a priority moving forward.
To
General?
your point that you made about domain awareness, the funding for the E7 as well as the space-based AMTI will help us with both, with domain awareness.
Thank you for raising the E7. You and I have had multiple conversations about how this must remain a priority for us, and I think we have seen that play out. My time has expired, but General, you and I have also talked about the HC-130 and the importance to us in Alaska from a search and rescue perspective, but we've seen that play out in real time in the Iran conflict with the need for combat search and rescue. So I would just hope that you are able to confirm the HC-130J Combat King II fleet, that's going to be sustained nationwide to continue these important missions.
Yes, Senator, thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, one of the early measures I took when I took the CSAF seat was to keep the HC-130s together with the HA-60s